One is that he loves these kids, but that he didn't major or minor in math. His degree's in physical education. He makes so little, he has to drive the school bus just to try to take care of his own family. We need to really think anew about how it is we put these young people in this situation. And this young lady, who doesn't know I'm going to do this, but you're going to welcome her. Say hello to Essence. Come on up here, Essence. She's in school here in Columbus. And I saw her on my TV. And I said, look, when I get into Columbus, I want to meet this young lady because I'm talking about this is somebody, forget Congress or Governor Gill, don't even start there. Those are floors. This young lady, look, if George Bush can be president, this country can do, we can do better. And in the future, this is the kind of leadership we need. I want you to say hello to her. I want you to say hello to her. Say something.
Hi, I didn't really know I was gonna speak here today, so I just thank you for having me. And
Well, tell them why you were at CNN. What are you doing at your school?
I started a political group for John Kerry at my school because I just don't like George Bush. So I know I have a few years more till I really can vote, but I try to change people's minds about who they are going to vote for. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, but I've changed 3 teachers' minds at my school.
Now, thank you. Now, I'm going to be on a plane back to Philadelphia. In Pennsylvania, we're going to do our job on the first Tuesday in November. And I know that here in Ohio, you're going to do your job. Because these young people like this one that you just met, that's what this is all about. But at the end of the day, it's not just that we got to win elections. We have to create a sense in this country that every child deserves a qualified teacher. Every child deserves a reasonably sized classroom and a rigorous curriculum and a decent textbook. And that's why your congressman and I have a bill that I've introduced in Washington, the Student Bill of Rights, that says the federal government should not wait another day for states like Ohio to do right by these children. We should insist in this country that they do right today. Now this is not see, No Child Left Behind is rhetoric. We need action. And this bill, we now have over 200 of our colleagues who are supporting this bill that I've introduced. Congressman Strickland is an original co-sponsor. A lot of the people here, like Bill and others, been involved in this activity for a long time. It's high time that this nation insists that children get a fair opportunity to learn, that if we're gonna give them the same test, why can't they have the same textbook? Why can't they have the same number of kids in their classroom? Why can't they have decent facilities? If we're gonna test them, and like I was trying to explain to Bush, and I knew he was confused, and eventually I gave up, but I said, what if your team had to play baseball against my team and you couldn't have a bat, and you couldn't have any gloves, and your team didn't get a ball, and then at the end of the game we said, well, you didn't get enough runs and you didn't win. That is inherently intellectually indefensible. To say that we're going to have standardized tests, but we're not going to care at all that you can have high schools like in this state with 3,400 kids in them and almost no access to see a counselor. It's ridiculous. I mean, so I don't want to, Ohio, you're at the forefront of the most important battle of our day. 50 years after Brown, where the Supreme Court said that wherever a state is going to provide a public education, it has to do so equally in all respects. Well, 50 years later, you look where those cases came from that was the essence of Brown. Look at the Briggs case in South Carolina in August, right in the same courtroom, 51 years later, in the same community, they're still arguing about the same issue, that the poor kids there in South Carolina not getting a fair shot at a quality education. You know it's true that this is not an Ohio fight. This is a fight in each of our 50 states. And like any war, your fight in your trench, this battle, is part of our opportunity and our necessity to win across the board. New York, they had a great case at the trial level, but just so you don't think Bush is the only one that's confused about this. They had 8 justices on the Court of Appeal in New York who reversed the lower court. They wrote their names on this decision, Ted, and they said, no, the state that has no responsibility to provide an equal education opportunity to those kids in New York City. They wrote their name and they said, no, because most of them are going to work in service-related jobs anyway. They're going to flip hamburgers. They didn't whisper this in some closet somewhere. They wrote it down. So we have a lot of work to do. You have to do it. We all have to do it. I want to bring up to you some of the people who are on the front line of this, some teachers here who are helping to lead this effort. Patty, Patricia, and Drew. These are teachers here in Ohio. And they're going to talk to you about this fight and what you're doing and how you're going to make a difference. Thank you, and thank you for helping these children like Essence, and say hello to her mother too. Thank you very much.